Yeah, Jeffrey's website is neuro-enhancement.com. He has the Caregivers Relief Kit, which offers up lots of different ideas and tips on how to avoid things. And I guess, is this much like, Jeffrey, is the cycle when you talk about caregivers and how they... a lot of us go through a very predictable cycle of frustration and then resentment and then even our own depression. Is it very predictable what you see?
Actually, it is. It's absolutely human nature. And first, let me say that for people who don't remember where to put the dash, they can also get there by going to experiencenes.com.
Experiencenes.com.
Right.
Okay.
And one of the things that I do in my products and my teaching is that I specifically avoid a lot of those steps, and I go right to the heart of what they're feeling, and give them skills so that they can deal with them in the moment. One of the largest issues when it comes to people looking after other people is that even if they get support and even if they're told get a really good network and have some friends and delegate when you can, there's still a lot of personal involvement and certainly emotional currency that went into that.
Yeah.
I teach people how to build very specific, predictable states where they can calm down and literally change the dynamic of the situation while they're in it. It's a really very powerful tool.
Is there benefit to some of these steps being taken before you're thrust into the situation? And I'm thinking in particular about the fact that, quite often we'll have siblings and literally have never had a discussion about how we would work together to help mom and dad. And suddenly you're faced with a very heartbreaking situation where one of them may be very ill or very sick or need to go into a nursing home. And yet you've never had the conversation. Maybe that's a conversation that you could have ahead of time.
That makes a great deal of sense. Another thing is in terms of my own personal story. I was the caregiver for my parents. As my sister said, I was single and available. She had 4 little ones at the time, and
the ball was in your court, Jeffrey.
It pretty much was, and
yeah.
I just took the mantle of responsibility because in the immediate there was nobody else. I went through different elements of frustration and even subtle resentment, except I continued in that line of duty. A lot of my personal life, emotional life, all that other stuff had to be kind of put on hold and until some other arrangements were made. Unfortunately, they passed away, and those were the arrangements. My point is that it would be very helpful to have an honest discussion and face at least the possibility.
Yeah.
Even if, for example, somebody who has a parent and that parent goes in for a surgery, and they're limited in a certain way. It would, even if it's a temporary kind of thing, or like a mild stroke, where with some therapy they can regain 98% of their function again. It makes sense to be prepared.
Yeah. And if you can be, and if you can actually put some of these things into place so that you're prepared for that, maybe you'd be able to come out of this thing with better relationships. I can imagine there are lots of siblings who sort of never talked again after mom and dad got sick, and one of them felt that they had to carry the whole thing, and the other one wasn't there for them, and the other one didn't even appreciate the fact that they were carrying the whole... I mean, all that sort of stuff goes in, and it's wrapped up in our emotions, and it's wrapped up in some guilt and all. Because, even in your situation, you sit there and go, you felt some resentment towards your sibling who you knew couldn't help. So then on top of it, you probably felt guilty that you felt resentment towards her.
Yes. I realized that only later.
Oh, okay.
I realized that only later. I was too busy in the moment.
Yeah.
But you've touched on a really important point in that when we're in the moment dealing with whatever it is, whether we're doing it professionally or for family members, it's almost like there's an extra weight and an extra pressure, and we don't have a moment to even consider what it is. And yet that extra stress takes its toll on our personal health or our emotional health for our other immediate family. It's really very powerful.
Jeffrey Schoener, you can find out more about the Caregivers Relief Kit. You can go to experiencenes.com, and that is Jeffrey Schoener out of New Jersey. Thank you so much for sharing with us. It's a very important topic, and we hope people will go and find some interesting information at your website.